Hi, good afternoon. I actually am filming this later on in the week, but I'm not at school. As you can see, I'm at my car, and I just wanted to check in and say I have not been well at all this past week. Um, I haven't been able to keep down all the food that I was eating, and I took it. I still went to school. I still went to work, and I literally had to take naps or take breaks during my planning time and just lay down. I am feeling much better. I basically took this to mean that, for the season of Lent, I wanted to cut back on fast food, and then I went out to eat somewhere that was a lot of junk in my system, and I felt as if it was a sign for me to hang in there until Lent season is over, and for me to continue to eat clean, eat healthy, and just like be cognizant of what I put into my body, since my body is a temple of God. It's one that I should take care of and honor my body just as I would honor Christ. So I am feeling way better. I'm feeling much better. And I pray, I hope, I trust that the rest of this week and your week was great as well. And so I just wanted to put that in. That's part of the teacher life as well. Sometimes you get sick, sometimes you get a call in sick. I don't know why I don't do that, but I chose not to call in sick because I knew that two people on my team were going through some things. Two of them had deaths in the family and weren't going to be here, and um, I just I was just thinking about others before myself, and so I forced myself to go to work, and I felt better for the rest of the day. So I am actually going to take a day off, so no worries. I'm going to take my day. So I'll see you a bit later. Bye. I'm in my classroom right now. It's towards the end of the day, and it was a long day. um, Besides me not feeling well, I actually just had a stomach flu or stomach virus yesterday, and I was getting over it today. I feel much better. But when you get sick and you feel better but you're not whole, that's how I feel today. But I was way better than I was yesterday. I mean, the kids saw it, I felt it. I couldn't even stand. I was just like sitting. But anyways, I'm back, and I want to talk a little bit about how I get my parents very involved in school. Well, there's like several ways that my students' parents get involved, and I mean, it helps when the school supports parental involvement, and because it allows the parents to come inside the school, like during their child's lunchtime, and they get to eat lunch with their child. Our school is open every single day for parents to come in to drop off something in the classroom. They allow the parents to um, go by the classroom or just peek in, check in on their child, or eat lunch with them. So that's one way that the parents are able to just get more involved. Another way is just me. I communicate a lot with my parents. They have my cell phone number, so a lot of them prefer to text, but some of them prefer to call, and others prefer to just come face to face. And those are the parents that come during lunch. Even though I prefer to just sit and eat my lunch and not really talk with parents during that time, I just accommodate it for that specific reason. And when I'm so open to parents, it's very helpful when I build relationships with my students. It's very helpful. Well, that's very helpful to build relationships with the students as well. If they know that there's a partnership between the parent and the teacher. I know for a fact that towards the beginning of the year, when I didn't know all the parents that much, the kids were just, I mean, I guess we were learning each other, but as I got to know the parents more and they got to know me, and the kids got to know me, then everything just started to flow smoothly. So I do a lot of parent phone calls. If I go by a week or two without contacting some parent, then I know that I make an effort to contact that parent. Another way that's great for that is Class Dojo. It's a school-wide incentive system that we have at our school right now. And through Class Dojo, I get to post videos, I get to post pictures of their kids, or either like doing something enjoyable or really learning about something, or any type of moment that I want to share with the parent. I do it via Class Dojo. There's this one time when it was Thanksgiving, I went around during our circle time, and I asked each student, what are you thankful for? So I videotaped them and I sent it to their parents, and all the parents appreciated it. Some were just like, oh my goodness, and some were just like, shake my head, and some were just like, thank you. Because some of their students, their child's responses were just like beyond out of the ordinary, but they know their child, so. But that was fun. They really appreciated it, and I could tell they were trying to get a feel for who I was, because towards the beginning they always used to come in, drop in, and I could tell they was observing me with my interactions with the students. But now they're starting to lessen their reins, I guess. But whenever there's a report card, I make an effort to I meet with every single parent to discuss their child's progress and their report cards, so there won't be any surprises at the end of the school year. So they know periodically how their child is doing. Even when the progress reports come, that'll be like a phone call or something, and they'll know how their child is doing. But so it's not more of, I'm not one of those teachers where, not teachers, but I mean, it gets to a point where sometimes you may contact that parent when the child is misbehaving or there's something wrong. I make an effort not to let it go like that, or go so far to be that. So with me contacting them periodically, when it does get to a point where I have to speak about something negative, then it just goes smoothly. It's not really horrifying or horrible. I've had experiences where those interactions were horrible. Even when I put the good in it, the parent hears the horrible. But every parent is different. But yeah, I could show you all that I do and what I post, but I cannot do so due to confidentiality reasons. But yes, I post pictures and little fun activities on Class Dojo so the parents can see, and all of my parents are linked to Class Dojo, so they have access to it. Also, I do a lot of texting. If the parent has a problem with something, if their child went home and say, oh, so-and-so hit me, or so-and-so did this, that happens sometimes. And I would, they would text, but I would call. If it's something regarding their child and their well-being, then I'm going to call. I pick up after school hours beyond a certain point. Usually like at 8 or 9 o'clock, depending on the situation, I cease to address parent issues until the next morning at school. And the earliest I do is 7 o'clock a.m. And I already said that how often I do it is very, how often I meet my parents face to face is periodically, which is like 4 or 5 times a year, depending on if they're active in field trips, if they drop by during lunch. But there's plenty of times where I could meet and see my parents. I do have a few parents who do not speak or understand English, so when I do interact with them face to face or via the phone, I either have a translator or rush next door to one of my teachers and have them translate, or I would schedule a person to translate for them. I do not let the language barrier interfere, or I do not let the language barrier be an issue for me communicating with my students' parents. That's not going to be, I'm not going to let it be an issue. So I find ways to go around it. But yeah, there's like plenty of ways for parents to be involved. And even if they're working or very busy, there's still ways where, they can be involved and just communicate more with the teachers. Just like how I said, I would film the kids doing something and text it to them or send it to via Class Dojo so the parents can know what's going on with my child's education and not just, meet me whenever there's a report card. But I know there's a lot of benefits to it. I see it, I reap it. The children see it too. And the parents, it's that whole parent-teacher school interaction that just works for the child. And so those are various ways that I get my parents involved, and I communicate with my parents a lot. I think that's what it is. Communication is key when it comes to parental involvement. If they don't know what's going on at school, or if they don't know what's going on with their child, then then it's not going to be a successful situation for that child. And if they still can't get too involved, it doesn't mean that they don't care or they don't want to care. It's just that there's just not a lot of opportunities for them to get as involved as other parents who are not working or who can take days off or can spare those days as well. But I don't let that hinder the parent from getting involved. I do make sure that there are plenty opportunities for them to get involved in their child's education. I think it's very important, especially as a teacher, that it just doesn't stop at the school, but it goes beyond the school, beyond the scope of the school, and pull the parent into their child's education, and not just concerning grades, but the whole child, their emotional state, their physical state, as well as their educational state. And so I did a lot of talking. I just realized I did a lot of talking, but another way that I get one of my parents involved is when I invite them to come into my classroom and actually help out. So first they got to go through a background check, because not just anyone, even if they're a parent, they just can't come into the school and just start working with children. They do have to pass a background check process, and then they can start interacting or being around children if need be. So I sometimes need help in the classroom, especially when it comes to making, those things that I could do, but if someone else can do it, they can, like making copies. I needed some things to be like one of those booklets where you can rip out. It's like a core decodable reader from a workbook. I had my parents rip it out and staple it for like the rest of the year. Some other teachers have their parents organize their library. But there are like many ways that they can just work inside the classroom as well to help out the teacher, and not just their child, but like the whole class. So that's another way that I incorporate the parents so they can be more involved in their child's education. Our school also has a parent center where they can make the copies for us and organize all of the materials for different teachers. Like some of the parents help me make centers as well. I hope you took something away from this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.